Most of all, I was betting on you. I was betting on you, the American people. Because some of you know I now live in Chicago. I moved to Chicago right after college, after I was, right after Chi-Town. I moved to Chicago because I wanted to work at a grassroots level, and I worked as a community organizer with churches that were trying to deal with the devastation of steel plants that had closed. And thousands of people had been laid off. Communities were falling on hard times. Commercial strips boarded up. And so, working with these churches, we set up job training programs for the unemployed and tried to bring in economic development for communities that had fallen on hard times. And it was the best education I ever had, because it taught me ordinary people can do extraordinary things when they're given a chance. And I realized that change in America doesn't happen from the top down, it happens from the bottom up. And I understood that the American people are a decent people and a generous people, willing to work hard and sacrifice on behalf of future generations. And that if we could just join together, if we could get beyond all the divisions that our politics sets up, if we could stop thinking in terms of black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Latin American, gay, straight, old, young, rich, poor, if we could just think as Americans and come together, then we could challenge the special interests in Washington, and we could challenge ourselves to be better. And there would be no problem we could not solve and no destiny that we could not fulfill. That was the bet I made 1 year ago yesterday. And I have to say that after traveling across the country, in coffee shops and VFW halls and schools and auditoriums, after shaking tens of thousands of hands and speaking to hundreds of thousands of people and eating hundreds of chicken dinners, I am here to report to you today that my bet has paid off and my faith in the American people has been vindicated, because everywhere I go they are standing up and they say, we want something new, we want to turn the page, we want to write a new chapter in American history. Now, we have been seeing extraordinary turnout everywhere we go. Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina. Everywhere we go, we got folks turning out in Idaho. We got 13,000 people in Boise, Idaho. They had never seen anything like it before. Never seen it. We've had young people come out in record numbers. They're turning out at the same levels as our seniors. Never seen it before. Now, I would like to take all the credit for it, but I have to admit that it's not just about me. See, part of the reason people are so excited, why they're paying so much attention, why they're watching the debates and reading the position papers of all the candidates, is because they know that they will be going in to the polling place in November to select the next president of the United States. And whatever else happens, the name George W. Bush will not be on the ballot. The name Bush won't be on the ballot. No Bush. The name name of my cousin, Dick Cheney, will not be on the ballot. So, some of y'all read about this, how he's like a distant cousins. You know, when they do these genealogical surveys, you know, you're hoping you're related to somebody cool. But Cheney, that's a letdown. Anyway, his name will not be on the ballot. So the era of Scooter Libby justice and Brownie incompetence and Karl Rove politics will finally be over next year. Your time. Let me tell you about it. Let me tell you about your time. You're not here just because you want to be against something. That's easy. You know, being against Bush, being against Cheney, that's easy. But you're here because you want to be for something. Because you want to feel that we can still come together and do great things, and we have to come together because the stories I hear all across this country are stories of hardship and stories of struggle. I mean, all across this country, I meet people who worked at a plant 20, 30 years. Suddenly, the rug's pulled out from under them, the job is shipped overseas, they lose not just their job, but their health care, their pensions. They're trying to figure out how they're going to survive on a $7 an hour job at the local fast food joint. Okay. All across this country, I meet teachers who have to work a second job because they're not getting paid enough money. Or they've got to dig into their own pockets to buy school supplies because our schools are underfunded. All across this country, you can drive into neighborhoods and just watch young people languishing on the street corners without dreams, without hopes, without prospects for the future. All across this country, you find young people who have the grades, the will, the desire to go to college, but they don't have the money. And so they end up having to borrow $30, $40, $50, $60, $70,000 worth of debt. They've got a mortgage before they even buy a house. All across this country, people are at risk of losing their homes because of predatory lending and teaser mortgage rates because nobody was regulating the mortgage industry. All across this country, I meet veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan who are proud of their service, and rightfully so, because they have done everything that's been asked of them. They have performed magnificently. Those veterans think about the buddies they left behind. They wonder about the wisdom of a mission that has cost so dearly in blood and in treasure. Sometimes I meet homeless veterans or disabled veterans who wonder how it is that the country could have forgotten their service. And sometimes I have to hug mothers who weep silently on my shoulder over the memory of a fallen son or a fallen daughter. And all across this country, I meet people who love their country, they're patriots, and yet they're ashamed. They wonder how it is that our standing in the world could have dropped so quickly. How is it that we could have sanctioned Abu Ghraib and Guantanamo? And what's happened to our civil liberties? And how it is that we're actually arguing about whether or not we torture or not. People are ashamed. They love this country and they want their cherished values and ideals restored. They want us to lead once again with our values and our ideals, lead by example. That's what the American people are looking for. They want a new day. And I tell them I'm prepared to lead us in a new direction. I am ready to change how business is done in Washington.